In the history of the A-League Women's, 3 teams have played 18 games without defeat. Brisbane Roar in 2007 and 2008, Canberra United in 2011 and 2012, Melbourne City in 2015 and 2016. If they can avoid defeat today, the Melbourne City side of 2024-25 will add their name to the pantheon of greats. Hello and welcome to McKellar Park in Canberra, where Canberra United are hoping to topple Melbourne City for the first time this season. In 2016, it was a teenage Carly Rossbacken who scored, and she returns hoping that her hometown club will not inflict defeat today. Looking at that live ladder, Melbourne City sitting pretty on top, 7 points clear. Canberra United, plenty in this game for them, not just to defeat Melbourne City, but also to advance their goals of getting into that top 6. The 2 teams walking out onto the pitch today. It's a warm one in Canberra, around 33 degrees at the moment. Let's take a look at the way these 2 sides line up. 2 changes for Canberra's starting 11 from the side that lined up before the international break. Janea Dos Santos comes in for her first start of the season, and Aideen Keane makes a welcome start after battling injuries. Michelle Heyman not available after returning to the country this morning. There is Maya Markovski, 50 A-League Women appearances today for her. She made an emotional post on social media about the setbacks and the injuries she's had to endure in her career so far, but the 23-year-old has found a home in Canberra after starting her career at Melbourne Victory. Bethany Gordon as well making her 50th appearance today, so 2 Canberra United players sharing that milestone. Similarly, Bethany Gordon's career, this is her 4th stint at a club. She started at Canberra United all the way back in 2017-2018 before playing for the Newcastle Jets and also the Western Sydney Wanderers, so big moments for both players. Meanwhile, Melbourne City, 2 changes as well. Holly McNamara probably on the same plane as Michelle Heyman, so neither of them got back from the United States in time. She's replaced in the starting 11 by Briley Henry, who scored the match winner against Sydney, while Leah Davidson comes in at the expense of Rihanna Policina. There is Briley Henry starting today. Last week she scored her first goal in the league in 714 days, and she's been rewarded with a start today. The 21-year-old has always had the talent, but can she begin to convert that into consistent goals in the league? It is what she will be looking for today. Well, Canberra means a lot to their head coach, Anthony Jageranek, and he would be keenly aware of how much it would mean to secure not only the win today, but also finals football this season. He'll be hoping his team can punish City on the counter in press and in transition. The central official today is Rachel Mitchinson. She's assisted by Delphina Shakespeare and Misuk Park. The 4th official today is Georgia Ghirardello. Well, Michael Matriciani there watching on. You'd think he's achieved a pass mark for his first season in the competition, given how well his team are doing, undefeated, 7 points clear. However, history beckons. It's a big moment for his team today, and keeping them focused on the immediate task at hand will go a long way to ensuring that they get there. And 2 sides making their way onto the field. Haley Taylor-Young, Madison Nason sharing a joke there. Trying to keep things relaxed before the game. Letitia McKenna's been in good form this season. Of course, scored a brace against the Brisbane Roar. Again, just final instructions with Briley Henry. High fives all around for both teams. Aideen Keane, so quick in transition. She could be the key for Canberra United today. We know how good she is. Leah Davidson, her first start since injury. So we are underway in Canberra. It's the home side, Canberra United, who kick us off. Can history repeat itself when they were the team that defeated Melbourne City for the first time all the way back in 2016? Or will City continue on their merry way? Here they are on the attack early. Briley Henry putting in a ball, and they'll win a corner. within seconds of this game starting. So Briley Henry, after her successful day out last time before the international window, her winner against Sydney FC, the all-important goal in that game, she is back starting and immediately affecting a corner. Zira Apostolakis will take for Melbourne City. Low delivery towards the front post. We'll get a second shot at that. I figured that that's not quite the corner Apostolakis had in mind, but it came off Bethany Gordon, and so take two. Delivery this time, much more dangerous. Punched away by James. It'll come out to McKenna, who couldn't quite fashion a shot away. So Apostolakis, a second ball in. Sally James, fantastic goalkeeping. Well, Canberra under the pump immediately against Melbourne City, and Sally James pulled into action early. So that was that first clearance from Sally James. And then the second ball in, the 22-year-old did really, really well. Apostolakis again, third corner of the game already. This one low. Christopherson able to get it away. So finally, after about 2 minutes of play, everyone can catch their breath a little bit. Melbourne City 3 corners already. Now looking to make a statement. Traditionally, they've been a stronger second half side this season. They've come out of the blocks firing today. It was the last time these sides played, it was Canberra United who took the lead before Melbourne City were able to overhaul them. In fact, Melbourne City have gone behind 8 times this season. They've conceded first, which is outrageous to still be undefeated in those circumstances. Maybe in the international break it's been impressed upon them to try and avoid that. Here's 18 Keane though, on the charge here. 18 Keane. There is an early look at that pace. It's back to Bethany Gordon, Janaea Dos Santos. 18 Keane. Can't get around Carly Rossbacken, who takes it out of play. Receiving some encouragement from this Canberra crowd. And that's a look at that save from Sally James, exceptional goalkeeping. There, the former young Matilda, which represented under 23s as well. Dos Santos looking to find Malone. Montez Bosch able to play it up the line. Bosch trying to do what 18 Keane just did. And use her pace to get on the ball in transition. The offside flag will once again give everyone a chance to take stock. It was Maya Markovsky who was coming back from an offside position there. So this is a little bit of what we're more used to seeing as these teams begin to settle into the game after what was an incredibly hectic start. Melbourne City will likely keep possession a lot more. Canberra United will likely look to play on the counter. But that can be very, very effective against Melbourne City. We've seen it not just this season, throughout their whole existence. Mariana Speckmeyer putting on the afterburners, putting in a ball. And Sally James easily able to claim out the front post. Did spend 2 seasons at Melbourne City, Sally James. She would say that that time in her career didn't go exactly as she would have planned. She was called by injuries and just didn't manage to establish herself as a first-choice player for Melbourne City. But still only 22 years of age, and she's had an exceptional season for Canberra, it must be said. Back to her hometown club after those 2 seasons at City and then a season at Perth. City's goalkeeper. It's been a season of 2 halves for Mires. She's made 3 mistakes directly leading to goal in the statistical category, which is the equal most of any goalkeeper in the league. But at the same time, her save percentage is one of the best. It's the third best in the competition. So while she made those errors early in the season, she's really tightens up and is proving an asset as the season goes on. It's a big move for her from Spain. Obviously, new language, new team, new country. And it certainly has been the case that as time has gone on, she's been able to show off a little bit more of what she is able to do as a goalkeeper. Michael Matritriani there pondering the first 6 minutes of the game. Taking a sip of water as well. There'll be plenty of those throughout the game. A couple of cooling breaks a half coming up due to the temperature in Canberra today. Bosch gets around Taylor Young. Lourdes Bosch in space here. Still Bosch looking to cut it inside to Speckmeyer. Puts her hands up in apology because she wasn't able to find the run of the Venezuelan international there. Markovsky battling away with Apostolakis. Hughes. Davidson. Of course, Markovsky, a childhood Melbourne Victory fan. She did have the opportunity to play for that club for a few seasons before making the move to Canberra this time. Just wonder if there's that little bit of spice still against Melbourne City. Melbourne Victory's city rivals. Be a little bit more motivated to do well against them. 18 Keane putting on the afterburners. And Ross Backin does really, really well. Clear it up the line there. Now here's the switch of play. Looking for Hayley Taylor-Young, who wasn't able to get there. A little bit of a smile ruefully. That'll be a fascinating battle to look out for between her and Bosch. Here is Bosch in some space again. And here's Anton. Coming back, clearing it away. Apostolakis' throw. Rebecca Stott striding into space. Stott not selected for the recent New Zealand international window, so she'll be fresh. And the captain committing a foul there. She advanced a long way up the pitch, but didn't want to let Holly Murray get beyond her because, again, the transition was on. It does seem like that's the idea for Canberra. Play it down that side with 18 Keane, who, against the best in the league, is always going to cause problems when she's fit and on song. Really, the only reason why we haven't seen a lot of 18 Keane in the league is just those injuries. McKenna not able to turn away from Ason. City trying to create something happen, trying to create something down that left flank. Speckmeier's throw. Speckmeier, that was interesting, immediately went inside to try and cut off the release pass instead of going to the player directly. I wonder if that's a coaching instruction. Let the midfield come up and apply the press while Speckmeier tries to cut off the passes back to the centre backs. Bosch turning away. Lourdes Bosch still going. James comes out and collects. That's the danger of Lourdes Bosch. She doesn't always score. She's got 4 goals so far this season, but when she's on the ball, she's so unpredictable and dangerous that it means that a lot of defensive resources of other teams are drawn to her and they're drawn away from the rest of the team. Kostelakis striding into the space offered. Not able to get past Haley Talia. Here's a look at this again from Lourdes Bosch. And it was good defensive work in the end from Anton. To leave it for Sally James and to shepherd Bosch away. Again, you've got a player that can do that. If that ricochets away into the path of another attacking player, it is very, very dangerous. And the numbers for Lourdes Bosch, the statistics, they don't tell the full story of that impact that she has on defenses. Long throw, headed on. McKenna can't get there. Start putting a boot in. Bethany Gordon. Here comes City. Hughes. Gordon. Kane. Ball played through. Janea Dos Santos can't get there ahead of Mirez. And Dos Santos, still only 19 years of age, and given a golden opportunity here. She scored 1 goal in the league, and that was for Sydney FC. She's moved to Canberra this season. Her first start now. Can she be the one, perhaps, to affect the goal? It does look like Markovsky's playing a little bit wider. Maybe Dos Santos, that central player. Stotts ball central. Speckmeyer. Over the head of Haley Taylor-Young and out for a goal kick. James's free kick. The centre, it's an interesting midfield battle going on at the moment. The ball's come out to Speckmeyer here. Mariana Speckmeyer on her left, across the face of goal. Briley Henry, saved by Sally James. Excellent goalkeeping again from Canberra's goalkeeper. She's been called into action plenty already in this game. Here's another delivery, but over the top of everyone. Gets the thumbs up from Speckmeyer. Henry, just that first touch wasn't quite perfect, and it had to be perfect, given the goalkeeping of James there. So we'll have our first cooling break of the day. 2 per half today. It is a very warm one in Canberra. Temperatures sitting in around the mid 30 degrees Celsius, so plenty of opportunities for players to stay hydrated and stay cool. We'll take a look at Melbourne City's early chances. They came flying out of the block. Sally James has had to do a lot of work in goals already. That was a phenomenal save to tip it over the crossbar from that ball in from Apostolakis. That was after a corner. They had 3 early. Mordes Bosch causing all sorts of issues, as she tends to do as well. And here, Mariana Speckmeyer picking up the ball in a good area, finding Briley Henry. And Henry's first touch wasn't exactly perfect as it needed to be. Well, Michael Matritriani still not entirely happy with his team based on that team talk. Just ensuring that they're getting all of those little things right, all of the things that they practiced during the international window. Of course, both sides missing their Matildas stars today. Michelle Heyman for Canberra and Holly McNamara for Melbourne City. That's due to the tight turnaround in travel. Both players arriving back in the country only recently, so not enough time to be able to get adjusted to jet lag and get ready to be back on the pitch. TJ Blanic also missing for Melbourne City for the same reason, international duty with Serbia. And again, not able to recover in time to make the bench for this game. So Melbourne City will get us back underway. Here's a throw. It's a long one too down the line. There's Carly Rossbacken, a Canberra local, so this game's always massive for her coming back to Canberra. Laura Hughes as well for City in a similar situation. That's of course been the impact of Canberra United on this competition. They've produced so many players from this region and turned them into superstars. This young squad here, very close to making the finals and putting their name up in lights. Lovely touch, knocked up by Laura Hughes, who went to grounds, no foul awarded. All legal, said the referee. There's Laura Hughes, very, very familiar with Canberra United. Started her career in the nation's capital. Played for Canberra between 2016 and 2023. Headed on by Markovski into the path of Gordon. Bethany Gordon, Markovski turning. Markovski trying to fashion a chance, appeals for handball. Not given. With Canberra, they'll keep coming. Eventually, Rebecca Stott is the player to get it away. Haley Taylor-Young trying to continue the attack here for Canberra. Dos Santos. There's the ball taken away by Pastelakis. He's looking at that handball shout. Looks like the referee got it spot on. And her pretty flush in the chest. Dos Santos trying an inventive flick. Didn't quite come off that time. Now this Canberra home ground advantage beginning to make themselves heard. There's a fortress at McKellar Park. A very difficult place for teams to come and play. Alexia Pastelakis was going to play for the Young Matildas in a couple of games in Canberra during the recent international window, but just had a minor injury, so was withdrawn from that tournament. Shelby McMahon, who was on Melbourne City's bench, did play, scored a couple goals. As Canberra striding forward again. Aideen Keane has been really busy up top. All chipped in, headed away. Malone keeping it alive. Dos Santos, blocked shot. Gordon. Canberra keeping the ball here. Christopherson. A delivery from Christopherson, too much on it. Now for a goal kick for Melbourne City. Some of the other players who played in Canberra during that international window for the young Matildas on Canberra's bench as well. Mary Sanich-Floody and Tegan Bertolicio. So their final game of the tournament was on Wednesday, so you expect some fatigue still from that tournament and perhaps some time on the bench as a result. And perhaps certainly a factor. Here's McKenna out to Briley Henry. Briley Henry from a wide angle, cutting inside. Can't get the shot away. Christopherson was there. And that time, Henry will be disappointed. It was a very similar angle where she scored her goal 2 weeks ago against Sydney, the winner. But on that occasion, there was numerous Canberra defenders around, which made it perhaps a little bit more difficult. She tried to take it central, wasn't able to get it under control. McKenna looking for Bosch. Anton clears away. Anton's been very busy for Canberra in defence. Fascinating little stat to start the game that Jules won. Canberra United dominating in Jules, and that's exactly what they want to see, because their game plan will be to win the ball in midfield or high up and attack quickly through the likes of Aideen Keane, through the likes of Janaea Dos Santos. And at the moment, they're just creating little openings for themselves, but they have to hold off this rampant Melbourne City attack, the best attack in the league, the equal best defence in the league. I mean, there aren't many holes to exploit when it comes to Melbourne City. Rosbacken's throw, going central to Bosch. Modes Bosch does manage to keep it in. And Rosbacken not able to put in another ball. Riley Henry not able to win the ball there. Christopherson. Laura Hughes. Nice first touch from Hughes. Will play it through. Looking for McKenna. Anton there again. As she has been for a lot of this game.
Stay disciplined! Stay disciplined!
It's not quite a set piece long throw from Rosbacken, but it's not far away. These throw-ins down this side have actually been very effective for City. And here's another. It's gone through to Anton again, who has to take it out of play. Another throw-in. Speckmaier coming back inside. Mariana Speckmaier goes to ground, but legally, says the referee. Well, she's been spot on with her decision-making so far. You'll see just what that looks like on the replay. In the meantime, play continues here for Canberra. James's ball into midfield. Long ball, searching for that run, this time of Bethany Gordon. And put on the afterburners herself. So this is this penalty shout here from Speckmaier. Hard to see exactly, but it does look like at first glance that that was another spot-on decision by referee Rachel Mitchinson. Seemed like Speckmaier almost tripped over herself as she tried to fashion something there. We talk a lot about the press of other teams against Melbourne City. We're seeing Melbourne City's own press a little bit in action there, but Canberra have done fantastically well to break it and then try to fashion an opportunity of their own. It is probably Melbourne City's big weakness and the big glaring issue that they've had. The big reason why they've conceded first in 8 games of their undefeated 17 in the league is when they play out from the back, sometimes it can go wrong. Sometimes teams can press nice and high, and also stylistically, sometimes teams that like to sit deeper and play in transition can be very, very effective against this kind of team, and that's what makes football exciting. There's all sorts of different styles and ways of playing that counteract each other. But no team has managed to convert that into 3 points this season against Melbourne City, and that's what's made them such a special team so far. Anton. Ball taken away. Now this down the line doesn't meet Rosbach, and Anton wearing the captain's armband today in Michelle Heyman's absence. Just reiterating, no injuries there for Heyman or Holly McNamara, who's also missing from the Melbourne City team. It's just logistically travel. They didn't arrive back in the country in time to be available for this game. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out throughout the other games that involve returning Matildas as well. Davidson. Taylor Otto. Santos applying the pressure. And there's Bosch with the ball taken away by Taylor Young. That's clever from Markovski, but it just ends up with the ball down the line for City. McKenna looking it back inside, looking for Speckmaier, who gets a pretty firm arm in the back from Anton. Maybe made a little bit more of the contact than there was. And lovely work by Canberra. Off his right-hand side, Christopherson putting it in for Dos Santos. Taylor Otto, so reliable at the back. That centre-back combination of Rebecca Stott and Taylor Otto is an understated one at times, but they are so good at what they do. Lourdes Bosch. Speckmaier, McKenna, good touch, Letitia McKenna, saved again by Sally James, but on the follow-up here, Speckmaier shanks the shot. Somehow, scores are still level here. Lourdes Bosch will attempt the 3rd time of asking to make something happen for City, but in the end, it comes out off the head of Apostolakis and out for a Canberra throw. So that'll be the final action before the second cooling break of the half. And Mariana Speckmaier will be kicking herself because it should be 1-0 City. It was good work from McKenna, a good save from James, but she wasn't able to reel it in. And really, Speckmeyer should have hit the target there. There's that shot from McKenna. And then Briley Henry's done exceptionally well to get in there, and right there, she should have at least made the Canberra defenders have to put in a block. Unfortunately, just couldn't wrap her foot around the shot. So Henry, and then, yeah, right there. She won't want to watch that one back on the replay. Matritriani again, very passionate in these cooling break team talks. The players get out the hydration and the wet towels as well. Really nothing better than one of those icy wet towels on a hot day. Anthony Jagaranek giving his instructions as well. And Canberra United, they were the team that defeated Melbourne City for the first time in Melbourne City's history back in 2016. It was a Carly Rossback in goal, who of course now is lining up for City, that condemned them to their first defeat, and that was after 18 games. So that 18-game record is shared jointly, 18-game undefeated record is shared jointly by Canberra United, Brisbane Roar, and also Melbourne City. Melbourne City avoid defeat today. They'll become the fourth team to ever do that. But Canberra United, they have history at breaking these streaks. And 18 does seem to be the magic number that's very difficult to get past. So as good as City have been, they'll feel the weight of that history on them today. And Canberra will be hoping that if they can nick a goal, they can make life very, very uncomfortable for Melbourne City. Here's Davidson. Leah Davidson taking the space offered, looking to put it in behind Henry. Can't get there. McKenna, though, will. Letitia McKenna with the strike, hooks it wide. And out for a Canberra goal kick, although play will have to stop for a moment because Darcy Malone is just down on her haunches after that attack. And Darcy Malone, hopefully she's okay. Here's a replay of this again. McKenna is not quite balanced when she took on that strike. Malone scored her first ever A-League women's goal in Canberra's previous game against Adelaide United in her 39th appearance in the competition. She's been in some decent form. She's made a difference for Canberra as well. Hopefully she's okay here. The doctor will have to come on the park to just make sure that everything is okay. Malone, of course, spent 2 seasons at Melbourne City between 2021 and 2023, so these players will know her well. Melbourne City substitutes there, getting ready to warm up. There's a Barbieri amongst them. Rihanna Pollicina. Interesting decisions that Michael Matritriani has to make around Rihanna Pollicina and her role in this side, especially given the form of Letitia McKenna. And Malone will just be given the time that she needs here. Fans in the stands enjoying the action with an ice cream as well. That's a good idea. Great to see travelling Melbourne City fans as well. Alex McKenzie is the substitute that's being readied for Canberra. So it looks like she'll come on for Malone. who's back to her feet, which is fantastic to see. She's back to her feet. She's walking off. He's a very popular player in the league, Darcy Malone. It was good to see the Melbourne City players getting around to Leah Davidson, a former teammate, and just making sure she's okay.
That's enough, Madge. That's enough.
And some running repairs on the pitch as well. Maybe a little bit of a dent or something. So the sand comes out. And hopefully it will be okay to continue after that. So Darcy Malone walking off the pitch, which is great to see. And Sally James will get us back underway from a goal kick. So that ball launched straight into midfield. Canberra will be looking to play the way they have throughout this game, get the ball up the pitch, and Malone, well, she's come jogging back on, so that's even better news for Canberra United fans and fans of the league. She's okay. It's a little bit of running repairs there. And a bit of sand for the pitch, so all is well and back in order. Melbourne City currently dominating the shots category. They have had the better opportunities, but it doesn't mean all one-sided. Here's Stott. Ball played through, looking for the run of Davidson. Davidson can't get there and will go out for a goal kick. Marcus. Hughes picking it up. Look at that press from Canberra. It's always fascinating to see it play out in front of our eyes, the different ways that teams attack Melbourne City. Malone back on the ball, battling. Markovski trying to play it forward. And it's come away to Keane, but can't control it at the first time. Dos Santos on the edge of the area. Janaya Dos Santos with the shot, but it's deflected very safely into the gloves of Elena Mirez. And that's the danger of Canberra United. And that's what Melbourne City will have to be very, very aware of. Malone not able to keep it there. Markovski, though, did really well to get to the ball ahead of Davidson, and then the second time of asking, advancing it forward as well. History this season says that if Canberra want to get goals on the board against Melbourne City, they are better off doing it in the first half. Melbourne City have only conceded 3 goals in the second half all season. So we look at that foul by Hughes on 18 Keane. Only 3 goals in the second half. One of them did come against Canberra, but Melbourne City in the second half are an entirely different proposition altogether. So Canberra would love to get a goal on the board now. This free kick might be an opportunity to make something happen. Taylor Young's delivery. Mirez able to claim. A quick distribution here from Elena Mirez. She's looking for the run of Bosch. James will have to deal with it, does really well. But now reinforcements arrive for Bosch. Montez Bosch won't get there ahead of Anton. who has been a rock at the back so far today. It's been really, really good. The 26-year-old has spent her A-League women's career before this season at Perth. Bosch cutting inside. And go out for a Canberra goal kick. So Bosch not able to win the corner that time. By Lourdes Bosch, and potentially a card coming out of the pocket as well. Bosch is being motioned over by the referee. And just a talking to for now. Well, the Canberra bench and fans are not happy that a card wasn't produced after that. It was a late challenge from Bosch. Stott managed to get there ahead of Keane. Now Apostolakis playing it down the line, was looking for Bosch, and Taylor Young does well. Good touch from Keane. Now wide to Markovski. Maya Markovski one way, then the other. Not able to fashion a shooting opportunity. Molly Murray, though, does exceptionally well to get there ahead of Speckmeyer. Not quite sure what she's appealing for. Looks like a pretty clear win of the ball. Gordon. Ball in behind, Markovski. Markovski's ball finds Christopherson. Sophia Christopherson, high cross, Mires. Well, does manage to grab it in the end. Not entirely convincing from Milena Mires. But did make the catch, and that was all important. Just a teasing cross in. Bethany Gordon was there. And Canberra United, despite some of the pressure, they still haven't been able to fashion a shot on target and really challenge Mires. You can imagine there'll be some amount of time added on in this first half that they'll have the opportunity to do so, with the 2 cooling breaks and then the injury break for Malone as well. Comes back and does really well there to keep it in. Apostolakis asking for help. Instead, we'll play it back to Stott. This time Apostolakis goes down the line. Lourdes Bosch. Great work from Bosch. Lourdes Bosch is away here. Still Bosch. Taylor Young does well. And the follow-up shot is blocked. It was McKenna who was arriving. This whole game, that battle between Lourdes Bosch and Hayley Taylor Young. Both players have gotten some points on the board. It's fairly even at the moment. But that ability that Lourdes Bosch has to beat her player, it's just exceptional in this league. Stott wins the ball high into the feet of Hughes. Laura Hughes not able to play it out to McKenna, so Canberra United here in some space through Bethany Gordon. Gordon wide to Dos Santos. 8 minutes of first half stoppage time for Canberra to make something happen, but the flag will prevent that opportunity. Perhaps it will be Melbourne City. They have had the better of the chances, Melbourne City, in this half. They came out of the blocks really, really strongly. You get the feeling like that was a focus for them in the international window. their coach, Michael Matriciani, trying to prevent this first half blues that Melbourne City seem to have, as much as one can have first half blues when you're the best attacking team in the competition and equal best defensive team. Apostolakis cutting inside, doing well. Malone looking to gather the ball. Otto. Taylor Otto striding into the space given. Riley Henry. What can she do? Otto overlapping. Instead, she'll opt to go into McKenna, and Otto, well, perhaps not on the same wavelength as her teammates. Really required a smart attacking run in behind. Otto did the right thing, following through. She is a defender at heart and also in the role that she plays. Rosbacken's throw. Riley Henry got the final touch. So just ticking over into the 3rd minute of 8 added on. That's a result of the 2 cooling breaks in the half, and then also that stoppage for Darcy Malone, who is, of course, back on the pitch and getting involved. Here she is now on the ball. Laura Hughes, the tip of the press there. Gordon looking for the long diagonal. And the run of Markovski, but he's back and take no risks, puts it out of play. Otto was just assessing her options there, eventually chose the right one because City were briefly away. Anson will have to fend off the challenge from Riley Henry and does so well. It's an interesting one for the mindset of the players, this 8 minutes of first half stoppage time. You don't often see so much. And the scoreboard that they would be able to see wouldn't be ticking over the minutes, so they would just see 45. They don't quite know how many minutes to come. So that ball up the line, searching for McKenna, will instead trickle out for a Canberra throw. I guess the argument is, well, players all over the country every week play without a clock, so it should be okay for them as well. It is a significant chunk of time at the end of a half. Speckmeyer will reel this one in. Hughes is running central. It's cleared away. And Canberra able to prevent the corner as well. A great run in behind from Mariana Speckmeyer. Scored a stunning goal in City's last game before the international window. A run from inside her own half. A great strike. And that she can put on a good assist as well. He's shown that this season. Stott's ball. Ross back in. Will she reel it in? She can't. So still just about 3 minutes left of this half as Sally James looks to take this goal kick. Will either side fashion a clear-cut opportunity before the half-time break? Murray's ball over the top for Keane. 18 Keane off and away. 18 Keane. The whistle has gone, although Canberra didn't hear it. Eventually it's called back. Keane for offside. Nassau Park has the flag up on that side. Oh, Keane's bitterly disappointed there. That's what she's been threatening to do all game. So perhaps Melbourne City now with one last chance to make their mark on this half. Rebecca Stott. All cleared away by Sally James. Both centre-backs for City not afraid of running forward. Have done it all season, but today in particular it's really, really noticeable. Because Canberra are giving them that space in midfield, the instruction is for the defenders to take it, to run into it, to advance the ball up of their own volition. Of course, Canberra's thinking is, well, if they do that, perhaps we can catch them out. But if City's players remember to get back, that's what's important. Henry across to Leah Davidson. Not able to get it back to Apostolakis, who was there in support. Malone does well. Otto, calm work from the defender. McKenna, Letitia McKenna, thought about having a crack. Instead, she'll play it into the feet of Henry. Rebecca Stott, turning, shooting, Stott, straight at James. And so that is halftime in Canberra. A fascinating contest between the two sides at the moment. Sally James forced into some phenomenal saves, especially in the first few minutes. Rebecca Stott getting involved up the pitch, as is Taylor Otto. Melbourne City had the better opportunities in the first 45, but Canberra aren't going anywhere. Half-time at McKellar Park. It is Canberra United 0, Melbourne City 0. Let's take a look at the highlights from the first 45. This from Sally James, coming very, very early, that save. Melbourne City applied the pressure, had 3 early corners and then kept on coming. Riley Henry came close. Letitia McKenna was very heavily involved. This from Speckmeyer really should have been 1-0. She just didn't connect with the swing. She's been impressive otherwise, Speckmeyer. Canberra, though, had opportunities of their own, particularly in transition. 18 King here, taking it out to Dos Santos, but just wasn't able to have an effective shot on target, and that's kind of been Canberra's story. Despite looking okay and threatening, they haven't really created anything clear-cut. Elena Mirez able to deal with what has been thrown at her. So here are the stats from the first half. Melbourne City with more possession, as is to be expected. 3 shots on target, so Sally James has been fairly busy in goal. But Canberra, they have, despite having no shots on target, they've had their opportunities going forward, and they'll be looking for more in the second half.
football on Paramount Plus. The only place to see every A-League, compact material and Subway Soccer games live stream, every game, every goal, and every moment live on Paramount Plus. Tonight, you can watch at 10:15 the young Socceroos are playing in the Asian Cup final versus Saudi Arabia. 10:15 tonight on Paramount Plus. Get ready to cheer. It's not going to be supposed to be A-League, they're on your team too. Whether you're playing a holiday or playing a new home, this will provide you a you need to keep your free thinking going. Will do. Loan for free thinking. Canberra United would like to thank our principal partners, Club Life and University of Canberra, and our major partners, CBR Canberra Airport, with the license sponsor. Don't forget, as I said before, the purchases of the Canberra United merchandise today, wide-ranging offerings, something for everyone to show your support for your favourite football team. Hop along and speak to our friendly staff and grab yourself a piece of Canberra United history and show your support for the team. And as I said before, we will be using throwback merchandise available there, historical merchandise. Well worth having a look at.
So live pictures at McKellar Park, where it is currently scoreless between Canberra United and Melbourne City. A tight game unfolding before us today, and indeed the whole competition is very tight at the moment. It's very unpredictable. We don't know how it's going to go, and it's no tighter than the battle in Melbourne. Later tonight, Western United host Melbourne Victory. Let's preview the fixture with Narleen Musto and Teresa Pliers.
On Saturday in the Ninja A-League, we have a local derby. It's Western United taking on Melbourne Victory. And Teresa, this is going to be a second v fourth clash on the table. How much do you think can this shake up that top four race?
Yeah, look, it's a very enticing matchup, this game. And I think Western United are really desperate to win this because they need to close in on that top three. So I think it could be a spicy matchup and an early glimpse on what some finals matches might look like.
Absolutely. It feels like these two teams can go very far when it comes to the final series, but this is going to be Western's first home game in their last three matches, and it's also Carly Johnson's farewell party because she is off, as we know. How important is it going to be for them to just put in a really solid performance to send her off the right way?
Yeah, look, she's been an amazing asset for the club, and I know that she'll want to make a lasting mark in her last match, so they'll be looking forward to sending her off in a home match and in a massive derby at that.
As for Melbourne Victory, we know that they kind of had a bit of a rough patch where they had 2 draws and then had that win in their last game against the Mariners. What lessons do you think they've taken away from that quite difficult spell?
Yeah, I think it was a great team performance in that 2-0 win last match, and I think performance is what is the most important aspect of a team at this point in the season, and because they're in a good place on the ladder, so they'll be aiming to maintain that level of performance, that standard now as they head towards finals, I think.
And Emily Gielnik in the last game was quite candid and honest in her post-match that she hasn't really been in that goal-scoring form that she was hoping to, had a bit of a dip. So how do you think she can avoid that same drop-off in her form?
Yeah, look, she was very honest in her words, and she'll take a lot of confidence from that performance and those 2 goals, under her belt. But she's a very hard marker of herself as well, and she'll want to back up that performance too. And she's on top of the Golden Boot race now, so I'm sure, as a striker, that will be spurring her on.
Well, this game is going to have a huge say in that title race. Be sure to tune in on Paramount Plus or 10 Play to catch it live.
Here's what Melbourne Victory coach Jeff Hopkins had to say during the week as he prepared for the clash.
It's been excellent, actually. We started the week with a couple of days off last week, and then we had three really good days where we worked the team with a bit of individual stuff, and then finished with a game. So we had an intra-club game, which was excellent as well. And this week we've been able to start to prepare early for the game on the weekend, which has obviously been handy. We've had an extra session which we've used really well. I think we know and we understand what we'll get from Western side. They're a very proud side, competitive side, and yeah, look, I look back on all the games, even the game that we beat them in just earlier on in the season. It was still, a really tough, competitive game, and that's how they play the game, and that's what we're preparing for. We're preparing to have to roll our sleeves up to compete, to play with a real intensity, and yeah, we're ready for a real tough game.
Goalkeeper Courtney Newborn has been instrumental to Melbourne Victory's success this season. She's racked up 5 seasons in the competition after making her debut back in 2020 for the Western Sydney Wanderers. Let's hear more from the Victory shotstopper in this edition of Ninja Express.
Yeah, I was so nervous that day, so nervous. I guess being a goalkeeper, you come on, you're the last line of defence, so there's obviously a lot of pressure there, so to get through that game and to win was something that was a very proud moment for me. As a footballer, I'd say I'm quite composed and calm on the ball. At least I try to be. There's obviously moments where I'm not. And I guess just trying to be that player to encourage people further forward that are going to score us goals and win us games. Other than being in goals, I would definitely probably pick a 10. You have so much creative control, and the ability to score goals and get forward is obviously something that I don't get, so I'd love to maybe try the other side. I recently went a little bit waterfall hunting and stuff like that. Alternatively, I'm currently watching The Resident, so we spend a lot of time on the couch watching that. Your first touch and your short passing is something so important that comes together in every single game. Alternatively, also make sure you're always enjoying it. If you're not enjoying it, you're not playing well, so have fun.
No matter how you're spending your time outdoors, really indoors, outdoors, you play. The official attendance at today's match at Canberra Park is 990. Now we like it when the NBL is for your support.
Stay in shape, ladies. Stay in shape.
I don't want to stand in front of you. So as it stands at McKellar Park in Canberra, Melbourne City still on track for their record 18-game undefeated streak. It would draw them level with Brisbane Roar of 2007 and 2008, Canberra United of 2011 and 2012, and another Melbourne City side, the first iteration in 2015 and 2016. Still all to play for, though, in this second half, and while Melbourne City have created the better of the chances, they've had the only shots on target today, and Sally James has been exceptionally busy. Canberra United are never out of it on the counter. Aideen Keane in particular has been very, very impressive. Bethany Gordon has been getting involved, Janaea Dos Santos as well up top for Canberra. Lourdes Bosch, what a talent she is on the ball. She's arguably the best player on the dribble in this whole competition. She might just be pipped by Adelaide United's Erin Healy, but they're different sort of styles. Erin Healy's a little bit taller, a little bit more languid. Lourdes Bosch, a little bit lower to the ground and just has this ability to beat defenders. And it really is a sight to behold when she's in full flight. Melbourne City extremely strong in the second half. And there's Darcy Malone. Now, there was 8 minutes of stoppage time in the first half, partly because of a stoppage with Darcy Malone. We found out at halftime what the reason for that was. She actually, unfortunately, threw up on the pitch. That's why the sand came out. It wasn't a divot. There's nothing wrong with the beautiful, perfect surface of McKellar Park. It was, in fact, Darcy Malone just having a little moment, but she was okay to continue, so she's there in the huddle. And it's a good moment for her. It is a warm one in Canberra today. 2 cooling breaks per half to keep the players hydrated and cool. And it will be Melbourne City who get us back underway. So second half in Canberra, Melbourne City still on track for that 18-game undefeated league record. Canberra United still with plenty of opportunities to spoil the party. What will this second half bring? We know how good Melbourne City are in the second 45. They've only conceded 3 goals all season in this period of time, but Canberra They'll be looking to make it 4 or even more if they can. I think Christopherson on the ball early there. Her straight line speed can cause anyone issues. Markovski in her 50th game. And Markovski, of course, sharing that milestone with Bethany Gordon, 2 Canberra United players to make that 50-game milestone today. Throw in for Canberra. City under some early pressure to start this second half, but it's cleared away. Mariana Speckmeyer looking to get herself involved early. Barley Henry, who's starting today for City, she's been heavily involved. She's actually created the most chances of the game with 3 so far. Very industrious up top after breaking her goal-scoring drought in the previous game against Sydney. She scored the winner, her first goal in 714 days in the competition. Of course, she scored for the Matildas in that time against Chinese Taipei, but not in the league. A great moment for her. And Melbourne City will look to apply the pressure moving forward. Bosch in the middle, cut out by Gordon and eventually cleared. Neither team able to draw on their Matildas. Michelle Heyman and Holly McNamara both not making this game. No injuries, just arriving late back from the United States, not arriving in time to be fit and ready for this match. That second half record for much of the season has been at least partly a result of Holly McNamara coming off the bench, but here they charge forward now. Lourdes Bosch, still Lourdes Bosch. Look to play it back to Briley Henry, but it's cleared. Well, bodies flying everywhere there as Canberra United look to defend that opportunity. Bosch looking to work her way inside, goes to ground. Appeals from the players. I dare say that loud come on came from Melissa Barbieri on the sideline. And she's let things go today, Rachel Mitchinson. That's another decision that will be debated. In the meantime, Canberra United charging up this side. Oh, wonderful work to keep the ball there, 18 Keane. But eventually has it taken away. McKenna to Rossbacken. Davidson. In her first start in a few games after a couple of weeks out with injury. Of course, part of Melbourne City's second half success is their incredible depth on the bench. The likes of Rihanna Polosina, the likes of Shelby McMahon. They are spoiled for choice. Kostelakis. Taken away by Hayley Taylor-Young, who again has been tasked with marking the Mexican-American striker as tightly as possible. Briley Henry in space. Up against Christopherson. Christopherson does well. And Melbourne City will have a corner. They had a flurry of corners to begin the game. I'll be hoping to make this one count. They don't score a lot of goals from set pieces, Melbourne City. They actually have the second lowest percentage of their goals scored in the competition from set pieces. That doesn't mean that there isn't a threat. Only 2 goals all season directly from corners. Delivered low towards the back post. It bobbles up and it's found its way through. Melbourne City take the lead early in the second half in Canberra. They score from their 3rd corner of the season and they are on their march to 18 undefeated. So the ball was met originally by a Canberra United player. And Taylor Otto looks to be claiming the final touch. So the American defender perhaps scoring her first of the season, 3rd in her A-League women's career. So Melbourne City, as they so often do in the second half, they've found the goal. That gives them the lead. It'll be tough now for Canberra. Here they come again. Ball played through to Bosch. A little bit too much on it from Speckmeyer. And now for a goal kick. Frustration. But the right idea. Holly Murray and Mariana Speckmeyer just getting a talking to together from referee Rachel Mitchinson. Let's take a look at this goal again. So, did it come off Speckmeyer or Otto? Otto did seem to be the one claiming it, although I think Speckmeyer probably got the first touch. Did she touch it onto Otto, perhaps? We'll wait and see, perhaps, for the referee's report as to who she's given that goal to. Indeed, it does seem like the initial word from the ground is Taylor Otto. So the first goal of the season for the defender. Bosch turning, shooting over the crossbar. Full of confidence now, Melbourne City. Not only have they only conceded 3 goals in the second half, 65% of their goals scored have come in the second half. So it's really a team that they show off their depth and their real talent in this second 45 minutes. It sounds like, in fact, as much as we were debating which Melbourne City player perhaps got the final touch, there may be a suggestion that it will, in fact, go down as a Sally James' own goal. Which is a shame because she made so many fantastic saves in that first half. And just wasn't able to keep that one out. It looked agonizingly high. Taylor Otto now having to deal with Canberra's press. Davidson. Laura Hughes has her ball intercepted, so Asen running into space. Asen's ball through, 18 Keane can't get there. And Postolakis did well to shepherd the ball into the gloves of Mires. Mires happy to take her time before playing into her captain's Stott. Layson here. It was great work from the defender, but Keane's first touch just wasn't able to move it in an advantageous way. Here's a substitution incoming for Canberra United. Holly Murray will make way, and Mary Stanish-Floody, the 19-year-old, will come onto the pitch. She'll add a little bit more attacking spark for Canberra, acknowledged by rapturous applause from the home fans here. She scored 2 goals against Vanuatu in the recent Pacific Oz Four Nations tournament for the young Matildas, the under-20s. And she has an eye for goal in this competition and against players her own age as well. Here come Canberra again, but Apostolakis dealing with the threat well. So that'll be a change to Canberra's midfield. Holly Murray, an industrious young player. It's kind of her birthday today. She was born on the 29th of February 2004, Holly Murray. So there you go. Put in a good 55-minute stint. Here's the corner for Canberra. Delivered in a dangerous area and hooked over the crossbar by Christopherson. It fell well to her. And as she turned and shot on her left, she saw it go agonizingly over the bar. It was a good first touch too to find the strike. And you figure if she'd have gotten that on target, it would have been very difficult for Mires to keep out at that close range. Asen, interception. Madison Asen into Otto. Right into the body of Taylor Otto. And then on the follow-through, Speckmeyer taken out by Malone. Canberra intercepting high. Markovski looked to find Dos Santos. They'll come back to her. Janea Dos Santos can't get there ahead of Rebecca Stott, who will look to see the ball out of play and does really well, showing all of her experience there, Stott. 31 years of age. She's played a long time for Melbourne City in this competition, for Melbourne Victory as well. She's also played overseas for Brighton in England. She's played in Germany. McKenna playing that ball forward, looking for Briley Henry. Floody looking to get involved off the bench. That's a teasing ball over the top. Mires will be able to claim. He's looking for the run of Markovski. It's one of the things that Stanish Floody's done really, really well this season is link up with Michelle Heyman. Of course, in Heyman's absence today, it is Maya Markovski, perhaps the player most similar to Heyman. Janea Dos Santos appears to be the player perhaps more central, but Markovski, the kind of spiritual successor to Heyman. A tall centre forward, good at build-up play, or hold-up play rather. And to build-up play, Markovski's got the tickets to make things happen. Lourdes Bosch. Ball through to Speckmaier. It'll come back to Bosch. Lourdes Bosch. Wide of the post. And with that, we'll have our first cooling break of the second half. 2 per half in this game. It is a very warm one in Canberra today. Lourdes Bosch continuing to be busy up top, continuing to link up really well with Mariana Speckmaier. Well, the first 15 minutes of the second half have seen Melbourne City take the lead. It was on the back of a corner. We'll take a look at that again. So the ball came in, Speckmaier Otto was there, and Sally James, in her attempt to keep it out, has just managed to play the ball into the net, which means that it will be credited as a Sally James own goal. It bounced cruelly here. Otto claimed it, Speckmaier celebrated. But ultimately, Melbourne City didn't care. All they cared about was that it was a goal. It did cross the line, and it's given them the lead, and it is advantage Melbourne City as they look to achieve this record equaling 18 games unbeaten in the league, a record that they share with Canberra, the Canberra United side of 2011-12. Of course, if you count the Champions League, Melbourne City are currently 20 games undefeated, looking to go 21 in competitive fixtures. But that league record is the one that beckons. Stanage Floodie's ball, looking for the run of 18 Keane. It's cleared away, and his Anton heads it out of play. So another substitution here for Canberra. Janaea Dos Santos makes way, and it's Tegan Bertolicio coming onto the park. So a defender for an attacker. You'd imagine that will mean that there is somewhat of a reshuffle, and indeed, Sophia Christopherson is making her way up the pitch. So Christopherson will take a more attacking role, and Bertolicio comes on. Tegan Bertolicio played for the Young Matildas during the Pacific Oz Four Nations tournament in Canberra. And Bertolicio immediately into the action. She's a good A-League women's player. She's still young, but when she plays against players her own age, as she did against Thailand in the under-20s game, she looks absolutely phenomenal. It's a reminder sometimes of how young these players are. And still building, still growing. Markovski. Back to Bertolicio, who delivers a dangerous ball. Stott is there to clear away. Christopherson trying to turn away, not able to make it work. Anton again. Stanage Floody. Options in the middle. Stanage Floody goes herself across the face of goal. Aiden Keane's claiming that she was fouled, and she found herself on the deck. She would have thought that a touch on that ball from Stanage Floody may have resulted in the equaliser. Well, she has a case. There was a little bit of contact from Ross Backen, but in the context of the game, Rachel Mitchinson has let a lot go. Lourdes Bosch. Ball comes all the way back to Melbourne City's defence. Those ones are interesting. There's no VAR in the A-League Women's, so no opportunity for review. Referees get one look at it. And referees tend to have their styles. And here's an opportunity here for Canberra. Christopherson, well, a heavy touch preventing the side-on goal there. And this is always the danger with Melbourne City. If you're a Melbourne City fan, despite what they've achieved this season, you're always at the edge of your seat when they're playing it out from the back like that. You just don't know when those moments are going to happen. They conceded a goal in that kind of situation against Sydney FC in their last game. And they've done it for a lot of this season. They've done it for a lot of their existence. Moves back in now, being pushed back. Otto. There's that ball into midfield. Speckmeyer up against Anton. Hughes and Bosch trying to converge, but Hayley Young does really well. Hayley Taylor-Young off and away. Kostelakis gets back and makes sure that Taylor-Young can't deliver a ball in. Here she is again. Although that ball was looking for Bethany Gordon and instead found Briley Henry. Not as Bosch. Speckmeyer tried to play it back to Bosch, but it was well read by Malone. Lovely reverse ball. Sophie Christopherson's in some space here. Okay, cross ricochets off the back of Taylor Otto, who made sure to get there, and the ball taken out of play. And Melbourne City readying some substitutes here. It may have to be for Alexia Apostolakis, who's down here and will require some physio attention. She's just stretching out the left leg. Now the right, perhaps a little bit of cramp, hopefully nothing more than that. And Melbourne City just assessing here as Apostolakis is taken off the field by the physio. And the pickle juice comes out, so just a bit of cramp. Very reassuring news for the viewer when the pickle juice comes out. Not always very fun for the player. It is very effective though. Sorry. Markovsky looking to put in the cross. It's blocked away by Briley Henry and out for a Canberra United corner. So Melbourne City's goal came from a corner. Can Canberra equalise from one of their own? Mary Stanage-Floody to deliver towards the edge of the area. Bosch will be the player to clear it away. Taylor Young opted out of putting in another delivery and instead played out wide. Nadine Keane, fancy footwork. Can't get past Apostolakis, who is back on the pitch. And again, just stretching out. And she did miss the young Matildas with just a minor little injury. She was okay to start today, but perhaps that just having a little bit of an impact on her today. Markovsky coming away with the ball. Maya Markovsky looking to deliver a ball of quality. Again, it was Rebecca Stott who headed the ball away and Letitia McKenna dropping to take it out of play.
You ready, Ben?
So here are those substitutions now for Melbourne City. And it is Alexia Apostolakis making way. Rihanna Polisina will come on to replace her, so you'd imagine there'll be a little bit of a reshuffle at the back. Polisina, traditionally a number 10, like the shirt she's wearing, an attacking midfielder. Can also play centre forward and has done so for Melbourne City throughout the season. Certainly not a defender though, so we might see Briley Henry drop back into that right back role where she has been playing large chunks of the last few seasons. Hughes has the ball taken away, alone. Markovsky tried to find Keane, couldn't do so. And Henry does well. No, the ball did go out before she was able to keep it in. But it does look like that is what has happened. Henry into that right back role. Which is why that 714 days without scoring was a little bit unfair, because she has played a lot of time in defence, Briley Henry. Apostolakis just making her way around back to the bench. Ball forward, Darcy Malone. Malone looking for the ball across. Bertolicio will come and collect. Tegan Bertolicio. Rebecca Stott able to see it away. Now Melbourne City looking to hit in transition. Speckmeyer. Anton did really well to see it out of play. Aideen Keane turns away from Henry. Still Aideen Keane looking for options in the middle. Christopherson was there lurking, but Alicio on the edge of the area as well. There's Markovsky cutting inside. Maya Markovsky against Henry. And manages to win her side a corner. She just drags the ball back right on the byline there, Markovsky. And it's Canberra at the moment who are applying all of the pressure. Yuri Stanic-Floody to deliver a corner. Her delivery towards the back post, headed away by Otto. Gordon. Eason's delivery, headed up high by Otto. Players shielding their eyes to try and see the ball, and eventually Polisina pokes it out. City having to withstand a little bit of pressure here. Canberra United pressing hard for this equaliser. It is not only Melbourne City's record on the line, it is a top 6 place for Canberra. They are only 1 point away after the Mariners lost to the Western Sydney Wanderers last night. Back post again, flying in was Aideen Keane, but she couldn't get the head on it. Can you imagine if she'd have leapt high enough to get the connection? That would have been a very firmly struck header. And Henry in an arm wrestle with Keane. And Rachel Mitchinson is not calling much for either side today. At first glance, that did look like a fairly unceremonious grab at the arm from Briley Henry. She didn't try to hide it in any way. But not enough for the referee to award a foul. Speckmeyer not able to get past Malone. So Canberra continuing to apply this pressure. The crowd's getting louder. Mariana Speckmeyer has Letitia McKenna making a forward run ahead of her. Instead, she'll shoot from distance. She saw Sally James off her line and went for the spectacular. Here's this appeal for a foul earlier. I mean, she's grabbed at the arm there, Briley Henry. You can see the frustration from Aideen Keane. You can understand why. Well, players coming in now for the second cooling break of the half, the final cooling break of the game. A Sally James own goal is the thing that separates the two sides at the moment. But Canberra United have had a really good spell of pressure just these last 5 or 10 minutes or so. And it really does seem like they are the most likely side at the moment. Melbourne City started the game the stronger. They flew out of the blocks. They weren't able to score in the first half. They got that goal on the board in the second. And now they will receive that final instruction before full time. There's so much experience out there for Melbourne City. And for Canberra, well, perhaps the substitutes, Mary Stannard-Floody, Tegan Bertolicio, will be able to help get the job done. Melbourne City still plenty on their bench if they wish to employ that. Amelia Murray has only made 2 appearances for them this season. She's waiting on the bench. Catherine Harvey, who scored 3 goals this season. Shelby McMahon, a midfielder. They don't really have much defensive cover, mind you. So if any of the defenders needed to go off, it would be an interesting proposition. So that cooling break saw another substitution. It is Lourdes Bosch who's coming off, and it is the Canadian Catherine Harvey who is making her way on to the pitch. Harvey is a much more traditional kind of centre forward than Lourdes Bosch. But Bosch put on a body of work this afternoon and really did make life challenging for Hayley Taylor-Young on that flank and for Canberra.
Good Tish. Perfect connecting. Well done. Minnie, go look for the ball, Minnie.
Hughes trying to poke the ball through to Policina, and was cleared well by Asen. The confirmation of that substitution there, Catherine Harvey. She's got a brace on her debut, Harvey, but in the latter parts of the season has largely been relegated as a substitute. Hughes. Laura Hughes, great work. Playing it to Policina, who wasn't able to turn away. Now it's Harvey. Catherine Harvey, the substitute. Couldn't get the shot off. Hughes will come and collect. Maybe a second attempt here for City. McKenna. A deflected cross. And it was kept in. Denying themselves the corner there. But they'll keep attacking. Ross Backen getting involved. This Canberra crowd used to cheer for Kylie Ross Backen every week. Now they're desperately hoping that she's not able to get that ball in. Another stoppage now, just as Darcy Malone very slowly gets to her feet. She gets to her feet with a smile, so she's okay to continue. Policina. Otto. Ross Backen. Letitia McKenna. Great work from Bertolicio to win that challenge there. Mason just puts it into Rosette. Policina against Malone. Policina, the player to come away with the ball. not a good one, and it's allowed Aideen Keane to get in here. Aideen Keane to equalise for Canberra. Well, once again, it is a calamity in defence for Melbourne City, and Aideen Keane gets her goal. A coordinated celebration with Maya Markowski. They've been practicing that one for a long time. And it's Canberra who are level. Aideen Keane's first goal for Canberra United comes after a bizarre back pass. Aideen Keane was able to get there and make it count. Isn't she delighted? She's worked hard for that goal, Keane. She's been in and out of the side with injury, but she looks dangerous every single time she takes the pitch for Canberra. And she's got her rewards with that goal. Her fourth goal of her career. She has every right to be absolutely delighted. Well, Melbourne City, we saw them score a late winner in their previous game against Sydney, but it really seems like with Melbourne City, they are their own worst enemy. The goals that they concede are overwhelmingly these errors playing out from the back, these passes. They're almost too good in every other department. They kind of get in their own way. This pass just to no one but Aideen Keane, and she's got the pace to beat Otto there. Otto will be disappointed, but really, she should never have been put in that situation. And you can imagine a team that, if they cut out those sorts of errors, they're probably a team that's only conceded 7 or 8 goals all season, which is incredible to think about. And again, Canberra, they're not complaining. Here comes Hughes. Policina. Anna Policina. Letitia McKenna, the cutback. Still on here for City. It was kept in. Laura Hughes now. Around Stanish-Floody. Hughes to the byline. The cutback. What a save. Sally James, that is tremendous at close range. Melbourne City looking to hit back quickly, denied by Canberra's goalkeeper. This is really good work from Laura Hughes. Speckmeyer's strike, saved away by James. And Canberra United making a substitution here. Darcy Malone making way for Alex McKenzie. And Ruby Nathan coming on as well. You go, there is that second sub. So Ruby Nathan and Alex McKenzie on. Sophia Christopherson, the other player, making way. And they'll come on to defend the Melbourne City corner. Ball in. It's not dealt with by James, and Ross Backen gets the final touch, so takes it out of play. The intensity suddenly has lifted in these final moments. Speckmeyer almost getting there, and then Alex McKenzie and Mason combining to deal with the second threat. So confirmation of those subs. Aideen Keane tries to get in again. Oh no, not again. Ruby Nathan bearing down on Mires, but Mires this time able to get there first. Moves back in. Harvey, Catherine Harvey into the penalty area. The touch across, cleared away. It is anyone's game at the moment. Can Canberra United find the hammer blow. Markovsky goes for glory. Ramirez able to claim. Ramirez wasn't quite as far off her line as perhaps Markovsky believes. She had Nathan ahead of her as well. Suddenly what looked like was tapering off into a fairly straightforward Melbourne City 1-0 victory is turning into some late drama. Listen to this crowd as Ruby Nathan intercepting again. Laura Hughes in some trouble. Canberra players swarming forward. Stanic Floody with the ball across. Markovsky inches away from giving Canberra the lead. This is the sort of thing that is the Ninja A-League at its best, that we absolutely delight in as fans of this league. Shelby McMahon will be the player to enter the field of play, the young Matilda. She'll replace Taylor Otto. So that's a fascinating substitution. The centre back, Taylor Otto, coming off for a midfielder in McMahon. Perhaps McMahon will go into that centre back role. Leah Davidson, perhaps, as a more defensive midfielder, can fill that role. We'll see. We'll see what Melbourne City choose to do. Markovsky, little chip towards Nathan. Canberra numbers arriving. Cleared away by Ross back in a crucial intervention. And now what can Melbourne City do on the break? Asen will get there. And play it forward for Canberra. Again, dangerous signs here. Canberra are the team pressing. Well, 2 minutes to go of regulation time. You'd imagine there'll be some time added on given the 2 cooling breaks. Polisina up to Speckmeyer. Mariana Speckmeyer cutting inside, trying to find Harvey, can't do so. Polisina playing it forward. Played up the line. Gordon is there to calmly take it out of play. I mean, as things stand, this is an important point for Canberra. It takes them level on points with the Mariners, who are in 6th. Doesn't put them above the Mariners, given goal difference, but it is a vital point to their season. But there is a real chance here that they can get all 3. You wonder if those Melbourne City players start feeling the pressure of that unbeaten streak. Crowd starts getting in their ears as the tension begins to build. We've been told there'll be 6 minutes of added time here, so 6 minutes for either side. Harvey, is she onside? She is. Harvey goes to ground, no foul. Ken Mitchinson hasn't been calling those all game. McMahon, good turn from the youngster, only 16 years of age. Rebecca Stott. Laura Hughes. Laura Hughes thought about a long-range effort. Instead, she'll try to find a way through conventionally. Polisina pokes it wide. This is a good little play here from City, and there's the appeal for a foul. Again, in other games, that's given, but not today. Today, hasn't been giving those for either side, really. McKenna. Ball over the top. Harvey. McMahon. Great turn from McMahon. Looking for options here, the youngster. Speckmeyer into Policina, it's cleared. Stott. Rebecca Stott, ball played through Davidson. Great challenge from Ayson. Madison Ayson prevents Leah Davidson from having a close-range strike on goal. A wonderful intervention at the last minute. Very much appreciated by the crowd as well. That's fantastic defending. It had to be timed perfectly in that sort of situation. Policina, fantastic first touch. Ball played through wonderfully for Harvey, but Sally James is there, and Liz Anton, who has stood tall all game with that captain's armband, is able to once again shepherd the Melbourne City attacker away. 4 minutes for either side here. City's still on track to maintain that incredible unbeaten record, but could be an all-important win, an all-important point rather for Canberra. I'll still be searching for that win as well. Riley Henry not able to reel that one in. So Canberra playing the ball out from the back under a little bit of pressure. Markowski, Kane. McKenna. Still Letitia McKenna, playing it in for Policina. Now Policina, back to McKenna. McKenna, Shelby McMahon will leave it for Speckmeyer, and then McMahon. McMahon at shooting range. Instead, she'll try and play a 1-2, and it's defended again by Canberra. All results on the table at McKellar Park, but it is City on the attack. Speckmeyer, great touch, great run. The cut back, the cross across, it's headed away. Canberra United repelling everything that is thrown at them at the moment. Davidson, Policina, Brianna Policina, shot blocked, second time of asking. What a save again. Sally James has stood tall in this game. And she'll be upset with the goal she conceded, but she has made some phenomenal saves. And this is right up there with the best. Letitia McKenna, 1.5 minutes remaining. All delivered, too much on it. Policina will have to go and chase and won't get there. A disappointing corner from McKenna. Receives loud cheers from the Canberra crowd. Harvey. McMahon. Hughes. Back to McMahon. Back central. The snapshot! And Sally James holds on. City players were swarming. She had to make sure she held on to that, and she did. Now Canberra maybe one last opportunity of their own to break this unbeaten record of City. Clumsy challenge on the follow through from Bethany Gordon. So we will soon be at the referee's mercy here. However much time Rachel Mitchison decides to add on could determine the fate of this game. Right on 6 minutes of stoppage time. It is full time. Melbourne City extend their unbeaten record to 18 games. They equal the league record, along with the Brisbane Roar, Canberra United, and also a previous iteration of this Melbourne City side. But Canberra United did not make it easy for them. After Melbourne City took the lead, 18 Keane's equaliser meant that it was a nervy final few minutes. But full-time at McKellar Park, it ends a point apiece. It ends Canberra United 1, Melbourne City 1. So here's how the game pans out. Melbourne City came out of the blocks really, really strongly. Sally James forced into some fantastic early saves. This from Speckmeyer could have been the opening goal, just couldn't get the purchase that she needed on the strike. Canberra United, though, they were threatening throughout the game.